management. So I'm gonna restrict myself to those parameters. So let me just start it. Hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes.
Yes, 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 fine.
Okay, great. So as the topic of our presentation, which is like managing at the time of market meltdown, uh, everyone, Ajay sir and Aparna has already given my introduction, but still I'll just take you through like what exactly I do and about how qualified I am for this subject matter. So I'm the founder of McKinsey Global Advisor. I started this company in 2013. I passed out in 2002. I did my MBA, as Ajay sir mentioned, from BLS, and after that, 2 years I have worked in New Delhi, and from there I went to Dubai. So I worked for almost like 10 years before starting my own company, and I worked for HSBC Bank before starting my own company, as I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so what we do is I'm a financial advisor to high net worth families across Middle East, Southeast Asia, Canada, and for sure in India. And we manage over $100 million in client assets. So what we do is we have clients who give us we manage their wealth. We deal with a high net worth individual. Most of our clients are like minimum assets are under management is like over $1 million, and then we do their asset allocation. We advise them when is the right time to invest, when is the right time to withdraw their money, and we are not a trader. We don't deal in stocks. We don't deal in like buy today and then sell it. Most of the time we understand what the client is doing, and we understand their needs. Most of the time we work with not just one generation. We deal with the almost like there are circumstances where we are dealing with three generation in a client family, wherein the grandfather is there, the father is there, and then their children, and so the whole family is involved in a financial planning process. So it's much more than just selling them an investment or just trading in stocks. It's much more than that. So I'm a certified personal financial advisor, and I'm a registered financial and retirement advisor. And if you guys are aware of, there is an organization for the finance professional, which is called the $1 Million Roundtable. We call it an MDRT. Two times in the last 3 years, I've been part of that. It's based on how much business you have generated. So that's based on that one. So it's just a introduction just to showcase you guys like from which background I'm coming from. So all my experience is remained since I did my MBA in finance. From that onwards until today, it's remain in the wealth management industry. And so that's what I want to cover up. I will try to restrict myself for like 25 under 25 minutes, so that we remain within that 40-minute mark. And I think we already been 10 minutes into that. So about us, I almost explained it to you what we do in McKinsey Global, and and then at the same time, I'm gonna talk about the impact of coronavirus on the global markets. Then I'm gonna take you through like how we can prepare, being a student, being an investor, how we should prepare ourselves for this the post coronavirus world, whether we are a student looking for a new career, or we are investing for ourselves, or maybe your parents might be investing, so how they should play around with this one. And then similar thing, managing wealth during this period. And I'm gonna talk about, all of you guys since all of you guys uh, all of you gonna start your career, so I'm gonna share some tips like what you should be doing it when you're doing a financial planning for yourself. At the same time, I'm gonna introduce you to all of you to a concept which is called a fire movement. So I'm gonna cover it in detail, which is very much in the global market. Then I didn't hear much in India. So I'm going to share that one of the very big secret with you, all of you students, so that when you start your career, you can keep that in mind. Because what I did when I started, I'll share with you like how I reached from like uh, MBA pass out, looking for a job, to this moment wherein we are talking about a specialized session. So I'm going to share my journey, and so this will be our patron. So let's move to the next slide. Just a small brief. I'm not going to go in detail, but this is what we do in our company. We do financial planning. We do portfolio wealth management. We do risk management, which includes your life insurance planning, business safeguards. We do Ajay Khurana, and he's the one who does the tech. So we work on that as well. Tax planning, what's going on in the India, what's going on in US, what's going in rest of the world. Think about everything. This is especially for students who are say in a final year. Study about everything. Don't just think, oh, this is my exam, I'm gonna finish it, and then I'm gonna look for a job. It's gonna be really tough. So if you guys want to be successful, just look at my three factors which I've identified. Work on your skills, write a blog or a website, look for the website of the companies you're planning to apply to, study about the economy, study about the markets, because the economy is changing on a daily basis. So you cannot just go about, this is my final exam, I'm going to look for the job, but start looking for studying every day. So you should be aware of what's going on everywhere in the world, not just looking at the negative side of, because end of the day, we have a population of a 7 billion. It's going to impact long term. So this is about a fire moment. I want, this is a separate, actually I'm doing a separate webinar on this one. Whoever is interested, we can connect and we can do some webinar on this specifically. But I want you to keep it in mind, this one: financial independence, retire early, which is called a fire. Save your money, invest, learn to invest. This is the biggest takeaway I can give you guys. Save and invest. As soon as you start working, start saving. So these are the few webinars. I'm doing it next month. So which is managing wealth through recession, a separate webinar, a financial planning for beginners like you guys are working. You guys will be passing out from your college soon. And so I want you to understand how you can build wealth right from the day you started earning. At the same time, be a winner for life, which is my biggest takeaway, that how you can be winner in life. As soon as you pass out of the college, you should be a winner and not a loser. And the fire movement, I'm doing a separate webinar on this as well next month. I think we're almost done. If anyone want to connect with me on the social media, this is my website, which is McKinley Global. We have I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, Instagram. So there are many ways to touch base. Where on my pages, I always write about the economy. I always write about financial planning, about saving and investing, about the economy. So these are very important skills which everyone should develop. These are my phone number and email address in case somebody want to connect with me. I'm more than happy to help you guys. More than happy if somebody want a personal coaching, if somebody want to learn about investing, I will be more than happy to share skill set, everyone to a new concept which is called the fire movement. And when I'm telling everyone, as soon as they start working, they should try to save as much as possible, and invest for a long term, so that in the next 10-15 years everyone can achieve the life of their dreams, which they look at. Don't rely only on the salary and stuff like that. they really have to save it. So the save and invest, that's my only mantra, which I personally have followed in the last 15 years. As soon as I start 2002, my first job was paying me only 6,500 rupee in India, which nowadays is pretty high. So, but even at that's low amount, I was trying to save as much as possible. I was saving around 70 to 80% of 80% of my income of my salary, and that's why I'm able to achieve what I reached so far. So these are my email address, phone number in case somebody want to connect with me. I have webinar, as I said, upcoming webinars in case somebody want to connect with me, and then we can have a separate session on these one. These are the few of the session. That's my email address. If anybody is interested, they can drop an email, follow us on social media. It's pretty simple. McKinley Global, that's the name of my company. At the, I am available with my name on Facebook and Instagram. That's it. So thank you for your time. I wish everyone good luck for the future. And also I want everyone to take this time to develop their skills and not just think of it that it's a doomsday or the whole year is gonna go waste. It's the time. Everyone is getting a lot of time at this point wherein they don't have to travel, they don't have to waste time in traffic. So this is an opportunity to develop your skill, which will be the only thing helpful apart from your college degree. Your skills matters a lot. So prepare yourself for a future, and don't just look at the job. Look at how I can achieve. Make your goals, 5-year goal, 10-year goal, 15-year goal. So you should have those kind of goals. When I started, I prepared my own goal. Like at the age of 25, I'm gonna have this much wealth. At the age 30, I'm gonna save this much. At the age 35, I'm gonna save this much. And that's the reason I'm and compounding. People learn to invest, learn to save, and learn to invest. That's the only thing which can take you to the life of your dreams. That's what I tell my clients. That's what I'm telling to all the students, all of you guys, that there is nothing you cannot, there's nothing more than you have to plan your own future. You cannot rely on a job or one company to another. You as a person remains the same whichever company you work for. So you have to plan on your own. So this is how this is the wrap of my presentation.
Yeah, so question and answer session should be started. I mean, if the
Yeah.
students are having few questions, they can raise the questions.
Yeah, sure.
And then Ajay will be able to give the answer to those
Yeah, I'm not
questions.
yeah, so I can tell if whichever I can within my profession. Yes, I can try to answer that.
Okay, students, you may write your question in the chat box that I have told you, and we'll be taking those questions, and Ajay sir would be answering your queries. Okay, so sir, we have received first question that what is the impact of novel coronavirus having on the global business, and was there silver lining here? What can companies learn from this situation?
Yeah, so yes, the impact, we as we discussed already, the impact is pretty huge. Like all the businesses are shut down, or practically everything is down. It never happened in any previous history. Even when we have seen a recession recently, which was 2008 and 9, which has no comparison to this. This is an unprecedented time. Virgin Atlantic, which is such a huge airline, Virgin Airlines, they are almost on the brink of bankruptcy. We have seen the oil almost touching at a $0. So these are the difficult time. In India also, we have looking at we were before this recession, which is we are almost in a recession. We were growing at a 6%, almost at the 6.5%, and we are talking about now like maybe 1%, 2%. China is down, all the factories are shut down. So we have never seen, nobody in their life have seen something like this. So this is the negative side of it. But the silver lining is this: nobody, like, if this thing is not gonna end here. Like as I mentioned in my presentation, we are over 7 billion population. Worst case scenario is gonna impact less than 1% of the population. So sooner or later, there will be some medicine or a vaccine is going to come and everyone will be immune. But but as I said, the silver lining is this: everyone has time. Develop your skills. Look for which field you want to go. For example, students, which field you're going to go. Whether you want to go in a corporate finance, financial services. Look for what are the skills needed to be successful on those areas. So work on those skills. You have time. Everyone has internet. Everyone has time now. Look, go to the internet, Google those skills. What are the skills? Go to those websites where you want to apply. What they're looking for. Go to the sites which like job site. Look what they are looking for. Start preparing. You have time. So look at that as an opportunity. At the same time, learn to invest, learn to save. It will still gonna take time for everyone to start earning, but they should start right away how to invest. This
Right.
is my
So,
suggestion to everyone.
yeah. So one direct question I have received from a student: how can I protect myself financially?
Yeah, because I'm sure
For
as everyone is a student, so but for example, somebody's already, and I'm sure most of them are single. But if somebody's running a family, we always recommend. I always recommend that everyone should have an emergency reserve, emergency fund, which we call at least 6 months of living expenses. That's the one everyone should be ready for, whether they are working or they're looking to work, their families, they should be ready with at least 6 months worth of an emergency fund, like a liquid cash. They cut, so that's how they can cut down on their unnecessary expenses. Everything is closed already, so that's a saving. But if they have an extra subscription, they have an extra membership, this is a time when we should cut down all unnecessary expenses and have at least 6 months worth of emergency fund. That's my suggestion to prepare yourself financially.
Hmm. And of course, the students are much concerned about their job opportunities. So they would also like to know that what are the chances of getting job. This is of course a direct question, and I hope you have already answered that, upgrading your skills. But
Yeah.
anything else apart from that?
Yeah, so for sure it will be challenging, but what I learned in my career also, the first year after the job, or I say 2 years after the job, doesn't matter much. So the kids should not be worried about, because it's not only happening to them, it's happening to everyone in the world. So they should not be worried about. The only thing, as I once again saying, work on their skills. Look for for example, somebody's want to go in wealth management, which is my field. Look for what are the certification they required. They can start working on right now instead of waiting for a job and then looking for those certification. They can work right away. Like, there are so many courses available, certification on national stock exchange. They can go. So it will be a tough, but as I said, I gave some few tips in the beginning of my presentation. Working on the skill, start a blog, look for the website, look for the economy, look for the market. So these are the skill. For example, 10 students are going for a single job. Everyone has a degree. So what matters is how you're able to present yourself to an employer, how you can showcase your skill. And it's not only the hard skills. Students should be working on their soft skills also, how to present themselves, how to present their resume, how to highlight their skills. So these kind of soft skills. So this term, everyone can maybe note down that. Don't look at the only your qualification. Work on your soft skills also, which is very important to be successful in the job and for getting the job. So work on your soft
Hmm.
skills, not just the hard skill, which is your qualification. Work on the soft skills as well.
Right. So, sir, a few finance students are curious to know that how banking industry have got affected due to this pandemic. In what
Yeah, so
ways?
all the industries has been impacted, including the banking, as a lot of, if somebody is tracking the stock market, a lot of bank has been impacted, whether it's a Yes Bank, IndusInd Bank, or ICICI Bank. So there are a lot of banks. So for sure, the banking industry has been impacted. But as I said, it's challenging not just for them, but for everyone. So this is challenging for everyone. So the only thing, for example, we are on a road, we're driving on a road with the traffic. Traffic is for everyone, but how you will navigate that traffic, how cool you are, how skilled you are, that makes all the difference. The situation is same for everyone. But yes, the banking industry has been impacted, but this is a global phenomena. Whenever the market revive, the banking or the finance sector is the number one factor which comes out of the recession, because banking is needed for everything. So these students don't have to worry about, even if they pass out and then it takes 6 months for them to get a right job. Don't worry about that, because there is a huge opportunity.
Okay, so from your perspective, one student wants to know that should we boycott Chinese product as virus has been deliberately spreaded from there? So your perspective about that?
Because I think that's Trump is working very hard to for
Mm-hmm.
that thing. So I think we are still nobody to work on that, but I think we should leave that to Trump to figure out whether we should be working or not. But the silver lining, but in the Chinese product, there is a huge opportunity for India in this one, because in India, like 2 years ago, on the ease of ranking, we were like 160, and now we are below 100. I think we are around 60 or 62 in ease of doing business. And just today, I don't know if anyone has noticed, but the Facebook is investing like $5.6 billion in Reliance Geo. So these are the opportunity. Whether we boycott or not, that's separate phenomena, but the only thing we can look at how it's benefiting. Just look at the how much its potential is in India. That the companies like Facebook, he want to partner with somebody in India and want to invest $5.6 billion when everyone is talking about a recession, when everyone is talking about what I'm gonna do. But look at from an outsider perspective. I work in Dubai, I work in Canada, but I always stay in touch with India. I know that how big potential it is. So we don't have to worry about those things, but we look at the potential of India. India has a huge potential. Just one example of this one, like just what happened today. $5.6 billion is not a small amount by any standard going to an Indian company at this point when nobody is talking about investing.
Exactly. Sir, also you have shared some success mantra like upgrading skills, writing blogs, and studying about the market. So what's your definition of failure? One student's queries about this.
Yeah,
Your
so
definition of failure.
yeah, so actually, as Ajay sir mentioned, I started even though I remained in wealth management since I did my MBA for the last 17 years, and I'm able to achieve myself that the concept which I said financial independence, retire early. So which means that by the age of 35, I didn't need to work, and that's the time I started my company. I don't need any job by that moment, but I did a lot of side hustles. I did a lot of things, and not everything worked out. So as they say, failure is not a failure at all. It's a learning. It's an experience. So whether in India also, it's not a taboo at all. So as I mentioned, one of the thing I mentioned is that don't just rely on a job. Look for, do work, keep on working on a side hustle. Keep on working on something. We are in an internet era wherein everything internet is almost free in India specifically. So keep on working. Don't worry about the failure. Even the parents, even the relatives, even the neighbors. Nobody takes failure as a failure anymore. It's a learning curve. So don't worry about the failure. And another one basic thing I want to tell everyone: don't worry about what your neighbors are saying. Don't worry about your relatives. Forget them. Then that's the only way to succeed. I lived out of India. I forget when I started my company, even my parent doesn't want me to leave a job. I was working for HSBC for a senior AVP. They doesn't want me to leave a job. But I worked on my guts that I have to do it. If I will not do it now, and then when. So the bottom line of that one is don't worry about failure. Take it as a learning curve. Get the only thing, even when I used to go when I was working, when I used to go for interviews. So whenever I come back from the interview, I used to write what question did they ask me, which one I did well, which one I didn't answer well. So I learned from those mistakes, and so that when I go next time, I'm prepared. So don't worry about the failure. Don't worry about anything. Just look at, but make sure your goals are clear. Make sure you have a vision. Without a vision, you cannot, no roads will take you. You have to have a vision.
Okay. So a very direct question, and would be expecting direct answer as well, regarding students want to know how to plan their investment for long term. I mean, they are of course at a very early stage, so
Yeah.
their investment planning they would like to understand.
Yeah. So just giving my example. So as I said, as soon as I started earning, I started investing. So specifically for finance students, they must be learning in their courses also what are the avenues. So the only solution is they have to first learn about what are the various investment options available. And I'm doing a separate webinar later this month, that how to actually invest. So it's a full session wherein they need to first understand how much risk are they willing to take. Once it's, for example, somebody is earning 50,000, first thing they need to do is look at how around 35,000 they should be saving. And from there, first they build up, as I said, emergency fund, at least 6 months worth of expenses. Don't worry about investing. Once they have what 5 6 months of expenses, from there on they can start investing. There are many options. The easiest option is to go for a mutual fund or an exchange traded fund. That's the easiest
Right.
one. And invest monthly, invest regularly. That's my only suggestion. Invest monthly, invest regularly, invest for a longer term. Whether it's applicable or not just for students, it's applicable for even for teachers, even for everyone. Even for this is the only mantra, like invest for long term and don't worry about market fluctuation, market correction. Invest for long term. Create emergency fund worth of 6 months of expenses and then move on to like a stock market product like a mutual fund or an exchange traded fund.
Right. So thank you so much. I think this was, of course, a wonderful session, and so many positive thoughts you have shared with us. And this must have boosted confidence of our students. And regarding investment and a lot of factors that you have discussed for upgrading their skills, writing blogs, and studying about the market will definitely prepare them for the upcoming scenario. And you also took us to some reality which we are going to face in future. Of course, we need to foresee, and accordingly we have to plan our things. So thank you so much once again for this wonderful session. And I would request Ajay sir, our director sir, would you like to say something?
Yeah, thank you, Ajay. It was a wonderful session, and I think students must be having great takeaway from this session. And you have also let them realize the reality of life. I mean, investment or better investment or planned investment will naturally lead to a better life. And it is the best thing which one can do in his life, in his course of career. And one must start investing from today only, because every day's investment matters a lot. So thank you very much for deliberating on this subject. And practically, you have enlightened the students. I'm really obliged. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So
It's yeah.
Yeah, please sir,
Yeah,
please,
no,
please.
it's my pleasure actually. I'm a product of India. I learned from India. I graduated from India, and I learned because this was my passion. My wealth management is my passion. What I realized, whichever field you are, whether you are a marketing, HR, if you don't know how to manage your money, there's no use. If you earn 1 lakh rupees of salary and then you spend 1 lakh rupees, there is no point in working. So the whole thing, whichever profession, whether you're a student, teacher, professor, doctor, engineer, the first thing everyone need to understand how to manage your money, how to save and invest for the long term, and have goals, have vision. Don't worry about the failure, and it's applicable to all the field. And especially for the student, when they go out, as soon as they start earning, the first thing they want to buy is a car. They want to buy a bike or whatever, the clothes. I didn't do that. I didn't do that, and that's the reason I was able to save. I am not a product of like somebody gave me a business. It's all how I saved, how I invested, how I learned early how to invest. And this is what I want everyone to do. That wherever industry you go, whichever field you go, whichever country you go, this concept remains the same. And especially now, everyone is realizing, those people who are already working, they're realizing how difficult time it is. Nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow, so the only thing which can help you is your own savings, is your own investment. That's the only thing which can protect you and your family.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
Ajay, keep me
Rightly said.
updated about your future webinars
Sure, sir.
so that I
I
can
will do
ensure
that.
some participation. I will also be there.
Sure, sir. We can do that. So good luck to everyone. So, and don't worry too much about the first thing. Don't look too much to the media. Don't look at the negative news. Create your goal and work towards them.
Of
So good
course,
luck to everyone.
opportunities
Thank
are
you.
always
Thank you.
associated with the challenges. So on behalf
Yeah.
of entire GLBMR family, I would like to express my gratitude to Ajay Khurana ji for sparing your valuable time and sharing your immense knowledge with us. I would also like to extend sincere thanks to our director, Dr. Ajay Kumar sir, for organizing this wonderful knowledge enriching session. And thank you all faculty members and students for being so steady, energetic, and be participating in this webinar. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, Saurav.